Let's see.
This tutorial in this tutorial in this tutorial
That's why.
in this tutorial we'll wrap up all the classes we've made till now and a big part of the code in the main function into a mesh class that will also serve as a stepping stone for importing models in a future show. First, a rough definition of a mesh, always on contain models. So let's create a header file for the class. First, we'll want to include a string. For the class itself, all the class vectors and not GLM vectors. We are using vectors instead of arrays since we can't know the size of our arrays, so it's best to keep things flexible in terms of storage. As you can see, we get some errors, but don't worry, we'll fix those after we finish. We'll simply input the vertices in this.
Ah. VBO camera texture. Next new class, public.
And textures, and lastly we'll make a function draw that will take in a shader and a camera. Now for the errors, let's go to the VBO class. If you've been paying attention, you probably would have noticed that our vertices vector contains a structure named vertex, but we don't have one so far, so let's create one right here. I'll simply name the structure vertex and give
Okay, I think I know what this is.
it 3 vectors.
Yeah.
Tutorial, I'll show you how to import file format that will become the standard in the future. I left a link to a nice article on this by the developers of the Godot engine in the description. Now for the actual tutorial. GLTF makes use of the JSON file structure, so the first thing we'll need
Yeah, that's already
now
have.
we can create a header file for our model class. A model private section will
Okay. So it wasn't anything previously from there. Model class H, JSON. Model. Yep. Do.
want to store the name of our file, a vector of bytes with all the data of the model, and a JSON object, which I'll explain more about in a moment. Now for the model.cpp file, let's read the GLTF file in the constructor using the same function we used to read the shaders. Then we parse the text and store it in the JSON variable. So JSON files work like dictionaries within dictionaries. Dictionaries have keys and values associated to those keys. If you give a dictionary a key, it will point you to a certain value. Structures. So let's just store our file and then equate our data variable to a function getData. We want this function to get us a vector of bytes from an external binary data file. So let's create a string named bytes text to hold the raw text.
Yeah, it's
To get
called
the
because
location of
idiots
the
don't know how to
file, we
teach.
can look at the buffer scheme.
Because the biggest issue is freaking. Here's the thing. So, okay, std string. So, you tell that to anyone freaking who just learned C++. It's like you're gonna get varied fucking responses. Because it used to be string. So, okay, that's been changed. Now you need to freaking include a certain file within freaking the BIOS because they altered it, which makes no sense. Now, in terms of freaking going deeper into computer, sure, it might make sense somewhere in there, not to the programmer, because people don't understand that freaking. You're talking about programming a computer starts with binary. That is difficult. You got to somehow translate yes and no into freaking all of this, and then you make another language on top of it. So yeah, no. The problem is freaking his so-called teaching isn't teaching because the only reason I was able to learn C++ within less than a week is because I already understood, the commands and everything, how they're applied. But the thing, it didn't just show how you apply it,
Which will point us
it
to
shows
an
other
array where we
applications.
want to look at
So
the
you don't just
first
explain
element,
it, you gotta
which
show
will
it.
again be a
Then you gotta
dictionary,
practice
so
it.
we again want to use a key.
Theoretical
This
and
time, the
practical.
URI key. This URI gives us the name of a
And they wonder why our educational system is shit. Because they keep forgetting. It's like you may know it, someone else doesn't. You gotta view it from their perspective. Also, no hydrating, only suffering. Because the sooner I get the game engine out, the sooner I can screw over an entire industry. But there's hundreds of thousands of employees. They don't care. You've ruined the industry over the past decade, and I've been watching. No.
.bin file, which contains the binary data.
Especially given the nearest freak newest Dragon Age. Yeah, because like I said, making a graphics engine, that's not hard. Well, we have something that's already doing most of the work.
Then we just get the text, put it in a vector, and return
See,
it. So,
like that. That's what I mean. That's not teaching. You're putting in all these other commands. Okay, what if someone's never seen that command before? Guess what? You put a bunch of other crap in here, and it's not getting explained. So okay, what is file str bytes text URI? It's like yeah, is it just an initialization of string, or is it something else? And that's my point. Because you have all these different commands that do different things that have different parameters. If you're gonna put stuff in there, you need to explain it. And I mean, for example, line 18 file str. Okay, for me, I already know file string dot sub str. All right, substring. What does the dot mean? Why is there a period between the two? What does it do to the command itself? And then you talk about you have parentheses. Okay, parameters. What are those parameters? And that's what I mean. Nobody wants to actually teach.
so
They'll teach you to get from A to B, but they won't teach you. And they wonder why people are stupid. It's like, yeah, I know how to get to A to B, but if there's a path, I don't know how to get around it. It's like, yeah, it's like giving someone a rock and saying, okay, go fix this problem. It's like, okay, what can you do with that rock? And that's the saddest part about it all. They've forgotten what it means to teach. So, as far as I'm concerned, go through the tutorial, get everything I can out of it, then tear it apart, remake it. Because, like I said, graphics, it's easy. It really is. I mean, especially ones. I mean, there's one little tutorial online that's been out there for years, and it's like once you learn the pipeline, it's like okay, that's pretty simple. Do all the drawings, and then fill all the gaps and everything else. Done. It's like it's really simple. The problem is when they start screwing with it, like this guy. Because I have another tutorial that actually explains it far better, but it's also saying, yeah, you're gonna have to work to even get this little bit going. Because you need to understand all the different kinds of extensions and everything else. Because right now, I'm just trying to find out why his code doesn't work. Ah. Well, then again, he also.
So now that you have your first taste of the JSON file, let's take a branch. Right. You need to if see nodes.
And that's the
So
other issue.
let's
And that's the other issue. They do like to jump around. It's like, well, now we got this. Let's explain this. Like, no, no,
so
no,
let's
no,
start.
no, no, no. Think of it as a path. If you're skipping a path back and forth constantly, yeah, someone's gonna get lost. The more you do it, the more it's kind of like the difference between an AK-47 and an M16. You want to make it simple. You want to jump around and have all these different moving components. Yeah, problems occur. The least moving components usually, get from A to B quite easily. So getting fancy is kind of stupid, honestly. Because right now, yeah, he's on H. I don't like his code, honestly. He keeps changing between headers and actual CPP files, which, oh my fucking god, I wanted to freaking choke him out. Like, that's just stupid. You're complicating all of it. It's like, yeah, you could put it on one file. Yeah, it could be big, but there's ways of doing this that I already thought of and done before. Ah, there we go. Send a class. Yeah. Oh, I'm a mesh. Now I need model. There you go. Model, character, void draw. There. That's right. That's when he added
Start
the extra
this
components.
by assuming we get an accessor node. Let's declare a getFloats function and a getIndices function. Then we'll also want to declare three functions.
Here's the next issue. Where is this? Unsigned character. Uh-huh. When it says vector unsigned character. Unless it's far, yep, it's farther down. That's what I hate when they do that too. Float deal and texture.
Functions that will take the array vectors outputted by the get functions and group them into GLM vectors.
Because that's probably the one thing that's probably the biggest sin for them. Say, well, I put these in here. You should be able to infer. It's like never expect it to be inferred. Because that implies that you think you know how they think. And you wonder why errors pop up. It's no different than freaking programming when it comes to teaching. It's like, yeah, you need to be direct. You need to be precise. If you're not, they won't understand. Or you're going to lose some people along the way.
So we'll
And you're talking about if it's not your problem, well, I mean, why the hell are you teaching then? Back to model. Yep, and that's the one I disabled. Because it is popping up problems, and I gotta go through the video now. No, it's just a retardation of how people think they know how to teach when they really don't. And the funniest part, I learned how to teach because of freaking a single video from YouTube involving Ford from the 40s and explaining from A to B. And it's like, yeah, they didn't explain A to B, they explained A, B, C, D, and E. So, okay, for example, like the axles. It's like, why do you need it? So they can spin. But the problem is, when you turn, both wheels are going at different rates. Okay, fine. Done through observation. So, but if you keep them together, it kind of might cause problems. All right, fine. So we give it a way for them to rotate independently. So, okay. But then we have another problem. It's like, yeah, it goes through every problem that it encounters to get to the solution.
first want the buffer view.
And that's the biggest problem, just like freaking people picking up math questions from schools. Like, yeah, 3 times 15 doesn't equal 15. Or 3 times 5 doesn't equal 15. It's like, yeah, except it does. But you wanted to do it, this way. It's like, no. And it's just retarded because math, just like programming, has 110 different ways to get there.
The count, the byte offset, and
Which is kind of sad, honestly. But of course, we still complain and whine. So, like I said, for this, I'm just gonna take this, put it together, and then tear it apart. Because that's the only thing I have here, is I just need to tear it apart. Because I have found the command lines from OpenGL, which is great. The funny part is all the idiots talking about freaking it's outdated. Well, not idiots because they think it's outdated. It's talking like it shouldn't be used. It's like, well, not really. A tool is a tool is a tool. Use whatever tool fits your purpose. If you don't like that, too freaking bad. That's why you think you keep improving said tools. So count, do, byte offset.
and the type from the accessor. Notice how I use the value function instead of brackets to get the byte offset and buffer view. The brackets will simply give you the value of the key, while the value function will are not always exist variable for the buffer view.
Yeah, the whole reason I'm skipping is because, like I said, you're waiting until then to talk about that. So yeah, teaching is a bit of a thinking process. Not really. I mean, you really want a pain in the ass to deal with a computer, start with EdNac. Alright guys, I need about, 3 bedroom apartment just to be able to make a calculator. Let's not talk about the fact of an actual computer, which should probably take a whole freaking complex.
View dictionary
And that is why we invented the freaking resistor, among other things.
from which we'll get the byte offset. Now to
Which is even funnier because we're at that point where they're no longer able to make the processor smaller. Or rather, they can, but they can't do it with the profit anymore. So now they gotta find new ways. Buffer view.
explain all the parameters we got. The buffer view index simply pointed us to the correct buffer view as mentioned a second ago. The count tells us how many floats we have to get. The accessor byte offset tells us from what index to look at the data with respect to the beginning of the buffer view, and the byte offset tells us where that buffer view starts.
Okay, so say for example, like this one. It's like, well, I'm explaining and teaching. You're not teaching. You're explaining something. But here's the thing. Do they know what they're looking at?
Reason we have two different offsets is that sometimes two different accessors may share the same buffer view. For example, we could have a vec3 buffer view, which is shared by a positions accessor and a normals accessor. And finally, the type tells us how we should group the floats. It can either be scalar, vec2, vec3, or vec4. Using
Yeah, and that's my point. You show, well, you don't really show because you don't see it in action. It's like showing why does a wheel spin?
this type, we'll want to get the number of floats per vertex. Then, in a for loop, go
And that's why it's funny when they keep saying, "Oh, you need to only know basic C++ or this." It's like, yeah, no. Learning the language is one thing, but they keep forgetting the API is its own little thing. Let's see. Just making sure it's correct because everything I put in here, I did follow off the videos and then go to the file itself to just to double check. So okay, runs into problems. So okay, why? Just like talking about throwing the if statement for finding an error. Okay, type is invalid, not scalar, vex. Dot. Say okay. Well, here's the thing. If you're throwing that as an error, here's the first question. Do you know where it's at? Because if you have all these errors and everything else, it's like, okay, well, where are you at? How do you identify it? It's like, you could say that, but does the person reading it know what the fuck it's talking about? Kids talking about type is invalid. What type? Type for what? Where? Welcome to that thinking like a computer. It's like, you kind of have to. You don't have a choice. You want to make sure it works. You gotta kind of get on its level, and it is stupid as hell, but does things far better than us,
over all the data.
which is the funny part. Because essentially, computers are only as smart as their programmers, which is hilarious, honestly. Because if we're already stupid and computers are already retarded, well, uh, stupid leading stupid doesn't equal
We'll store the
something
bytes in
better.
a temporary array, which we'll then use in the function memcpy to transform the bytes into a float, which we'll then store in the variable value and push it in the float vector.
Yeah, like, never seen that one before. Pushback? Pushback is what command? Uh huh. Yep, that checks out. Uh huh. 4 times. Yep, down in increments, blah blah.
At the end, simply return the float vec. Now I'll do this.
Oh, and everything I'm reading code wise, I had to disable it. So all I see is green. So as you say, return float vec. It's like, okay, where's float vec?
Same thing for indices, except this time we won't check the num per ver since indices are not
Da da da. Yep, just gotta double check it.
stored in vertices. Instead, we'll check the data type of the index itself, and according to that, read it differently from the data.
So I forgot to put that back up. Congratulations, welcome to yeah, I don't wanna no.
The index can
Because right now, if I could fix this, I could keep going. If I can't keep going, oh well. I got a graphics renderer. That that's already basic for a game engine. And I can just skip everything else because I'm not gonna continue. It's the same thing like everything else. It's like, oh well, you can fix it later. No. There's a reason why it's called freaking error debt. If you're gonna fix it later, it's gonna pile up. It's like Jenga. It's like building a structure. You built the foundation out of freaking concrete. You built the freaking supports with steel, and then the floors with wood. So okay. Well, the wood can't really support it because it's too thin. All right, but you already built up to the 50th floor already with all wood. Guess what? You got to work your way back down to destroy it all. Yeah, not a good idea. Because as far as I'm concerned with this,
either have type
I might actually skip this.
5125, which is an unsigned integer,
Because he's the only one I've seen who used the tutorial that I've been trying to figure out for fucking years because nobody's willing to help. And they can't really say help when they say, you need to fix this and this. Like, you understand? Well, I did say I was trying to learn, trying to freaking understand it. Proceeds to freaking get lambasted and ridiculed despite asking for help. So,
type
okay, then what's your purpose then? If you're not here to help, I have no use for you.
5123, which is an unsigned short, or type 5122.
That's the funniest part about most of the programmers. That's why I won't work with anyone else. Because they're willing to stew. Hello. I just noticed something. What's your number up there? Ah, okay. Just double checking. 123, 122. Yeah, and just to make sure, you are 125.
The
Yes.
index is
Good.
the index can either have type 5125, which is an unsigned integer, type
Well, I mean, I
5123,
don't really have a
which is an
choice to skip and
unsigned
jump.
short, or type 5122, which is a short. Now for the grouping functions, we'll simply
Because I already have something else. And like I said, there's another tutorial that explained this far better. So you want to load a model. All right. He's trying to load some weird off-brand freaking extension. It's like, I don't care for that. It's like, even he already said, it's like, okay, you already got something standardized with textures, PNGs, JPEGs. All right, fine. Why the fuck are you trying to, do some weird off-brand thing for 3D? It's like, I get it. It's not standardized. Object. Most computer systems, or at least, programs, handle object. And if they don't, well, add more. If he's trying to do this as a way to freaking handle them all, that's a mistake. Because from what I've already read and understood, each file or each extension has its own way of being read. You're gonna need a reader essentially. Period. You're just not gonna skip it.
Go over all.
So that I'll do. But like I said, it's a tool for me. So I could care less about it reading every file type. I'm gonna stick to just a few file types. That's about it. Just like talking about how I don't think PNG has alpha channels on it. So okay, fine. Get another freaking texture that can. Or even at that point, you can just skip it all together and just go to it. Because if it can support what the PNG does and alpha channels, I don't need anything else, really. Because ultimately, graphics is just basically showing what's going around. So people keep whining, complaining, oh, the graphics looks bad. Go look at Borderlands. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be cartoony. And the graphics did an excellent job. You know you're holding a gun. You know you're shooting. You know the bullets aren't fired because freaking why not? Graphics isn't important. It's just conveying what's happening. And the only question that needs to be asked, does it do it? If it does, great. If not, oh well. Second, where the hell is this part? Because he is doing it again. Yeah, because I got all this code. But the thing is, they love to cut in between code, put in new things. Like, no, 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 no. You already have this built. Cut it up. Already decide what's going to be where and how you're going to model group floats vec2. Found it. Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom. So you put in extra code in there.
All the floats in the float vector and group them in their corresponding.
Because like a computer, Visual Studio is there. Because yeah, for the most part, you're better off just, simplifying everything as much as possible. Just make sure it works. After that, then you can go for the efficiency and everything else. There's no point in dot size. Yeah, okay. There's no point in trying to be fancy early on. Just make it as ugly as possible. After that, you have working code. That's all that matters. Once you've done that, you can at least try to make it better.
Vectors. Really easy stuff. Using the
And there's too many people out there I've seen that prefer to do it the other way around. So, eh. Let's see. Vector group floats vec 4. Yeah, he's just each vec.
getFloats function, we'll be able to get all the attributes of a vertex, so the next logical step would be to combine those attributes.
And that's the first mistake I hate. Yeah, have a plan, execute. It's like a gun. The bullets are your ideas, the barrel is the freaking guide, and the propellant is your execution. They love firing a gun with no barrel and very weak propellant. So they try to put propellant in the bullet. It's like, yeah, how about no? That's why I get jumbled up. It's kind of like Elite Dangerous, where they lost the people who made the engine. Now they don't know how to work because they didn't bother having it taught or, put together in a way that could be read easily. So I get it. People can steal it and everything else. I don't care. If they steal it, great. Do something with it. If you don't, too freaking bad. And they want to complain and whine, talking about, oh, well, it's mine now. You can't use it. Well, I can modify it. You can't really dispute it, especially if I'm working alone, because you won't really have any evidence of anything else. Yeah, and this is probably the biggest issue I've had with this. Yeah, because this, I'm definitely gonna. Where is it? Two of them, right? Uh huh. Get that up, blah blah. Yeah.
in a vertex. So let's declare a function for that, which takes the vertices, normals, and texture coordinates
Mm-hmm.
and combines them into a vertex, which will be put in a C++ vector.
Yeah, that does not help me. This is why it takes me so long to do the coding, because
In the
idiots
getColors
like this.
function, we'll be able to get all the attributes of a vertex, so the next logical step would be to combine those attributes in a vertex. So let's declare a function for that, which takes the vertices, normals, and texture
Speeding through it is not a good way to learn. 332. Yep.
coordinates and combines.
Because this, it's like you can explain it along the way, but the problem is if someone's trying to follow, I mean, just look at what I'm doing. I'm not listening because I'm too busy pausing just to make sure the code is, where it's supposed to be. Line somewhere around line 100, assuming it's even there. Return indices. Yep. Nope, not there. Symbol vertices. Yep. You should be able to get all three, then the vertex.
Them into a vertex, which will be put in a C++
It's better off to understand what the hell you're doing
vector. Very straightforward.
than to not know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can fix the problem, you can alter it, you can change it. If you don't know, but you only know how to get from A to B, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do anything. And that's the saddest part about it all. We were meant to think. No one wants to anymore. That has consequences. Vertices dot push back, vertex, positions known as GLM, text UVIs, UVs. Yeah.
Forward stuff. Notice that I did not
What does mine say? Okay.
include the colors in here, since even though we declared them in our vertex, they're actually very uncommon in 3D models, so we can ignore them. We now have the vertices and indices. All that's left for a complete mesh is the textures. But before we take care of those, we should first modify our texture.
Mm. That's the other thing I don't like either. What are you on? H. That's what I mean. You got to worry about freaking. Are you having the header or the actual file? And that's the stupidest part. You got to double check all this crap just to make sure. I gotta look at my actual code. Do 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 do. Texture, slot, image, character, text type, slot.
Class a bit. First, we should remove the last two inputs of the constructor, since we'll automatically.
Yeah, that's done on what I have before I closed it off. And then he's in CPP. Yeah, and that's the thing because he's flashing around everywhere. Yeah, you're constantly. And I said this is not teaching. You have to pause. You have to freaking change around. You got to try to follow along. It's like, yeah, this isn't learning. It's like trying to teach someone to drive and then you pause, stop the car every freaking 2 minutes. Talking about now, we get to explain about this and this. It's like, yeah, how am I just letting them do? Because it's like throwing a bunch of tools at them, every tool, and saying build a house, but then don't explain anything, don't explain what tools do what, only give them the basic, and then as he goes along, explain it, but stopping him constantly. Yeah, this is why I take breaks. Rather be persistent and keep going than just giving up and saying, I don't want to deal with this. It's like, there's no point in giving up, especially if it's something that you actually want to do. Yeah, because I'm trying to look for it. Okay, that's under that. Wrap S, T, repeat. Min filter, nearest, da da. Hmm. Hello. You see around 27. No, that's right, because he has his own little notes and stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to have the notes. I'm not going to have everything. As I'm going through it, I'm supposed to be actually learning. Now hydrating. Chew. Away with you. 'Cause right now, I'm trying to find some sort of marker, and what I'm seeing is I think I might have found it. Just trying to confirm this actual location. Right, 'cause that. Wait a minute. Is that flat color? Float flat color geotext parameter FE. Da 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 da. Flat da da. Okay, I think yeah, that's the one he. Which is the other thing. You don't want to leave code that's in there. If I have an if statement immediately after, there's no if. What about STBI? Move down. Because I have nearest and nearest. I'm going to mark this real quick. So once I get the code out of this little note, I know what to look up because I think this. Actually, let me actually leave a proper note. Space, space. Because, yeah, that's not lining up. GL text image 2D. Huh? GL generate bitmap, but yeah, that's there. And underneath that is TPI free image free, which GL bind texture. Yeah, there's issues. ST, yeah.
Optimize the first one, and the second one is the same 99% of the time.
Yep,
For
he
the first
deleted
one,
it.
we'll simply check the number of color channels a texture has and
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think I am gonna go ahead. That's probably like way down the road though. I probably made a few games already. Equals 4. GL texture 2D. Huh? Oh, right, because I altered that. Da, 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 with height 0. GL number to be A. Unsigned bytes. Yeah. It's 3. I think I did it the same way.
assign a corresponding color type to the
Yeah, because I didn't want it to
texture.
be
Then
dropping
for the
down for
second
so
one, we
long.
just replace it everywhere with
Let's see, 3. Oh, whoops. Yeah, 1, 3, 1. Where's 2? Unless.
and assign a corresponding color type to the texture. Then for the
Nope,
second
there is
one,
no
we
2.
just replace it everywhere with
Just to make sure they're actually correct. Red. Hello. Red, RGB. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong place. Okay. I think
GL unsigned white. So now let's create a get textures file.
Model H. I will never hydrate. Never. Yeah, because I got to try to make sure this works, and they got to try to. No, I say make sure it works. Make sure it fix certain things. Do 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 do. Texture. Get indices. JSON private. Ah, it's kind of weird to work backwards on this a little. Duh. Sign char, float, gline chain, texture. Yep.
function. We want to
I just want to take one more thing. Yep. Okay.
skip directly to the images key, which will give us an array of URIs. Here, we loop over all of them while keeping track of the unit of each.
Yep. But if I can make this work, if I can get a actual game engine put together, which I really don't want to think about the audio part of it, because outside of the interfaces and controllers and everything, so like that, I could. I gotta dig deeper into OpenGL and Chronos Group, but it's just that they already have something, and I just gotta apply it somehow. Texture game monitor. Line 100. That's assuming that's even right. No, I'm in the same file. Yeah, welcome to having to read every little line. No, I think I found it. Well, at least one of them. No, this is get indices. I need to get textures. Symbol vertices. Groups. Group floats. Group floats again. Wait a minute. Where is this? Is this what caused the problem? Model CPP. I'm in model CPP. What's the other one? Assemble vertices. Okay. Well, yeah, just vector, vertex model, assemble vertices. There we go. Textures. Then find last of plus one. Assign integer. Down.
Texture. Then,
Then
if the
finish up the
texture
rest.
contains base color in its name, it's a diffuse texture. If the name contains metallic roughness, we can somewhat use this texture as a specular map. Keep in mind that this way of checking the type of a texture is not ideal and may differ from model to model. Also, the reason the metallic roughness just sort of works for a specular map is because it's something that's meant for people.
And that's what I mean. If I'm constantly have to, pause to type out the code and everything, it's like, yeah, that's not a good format. Because then it's beyond jarring. Especially if right now, because yeah, I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore. It's the same thing that's happening with everything else. They can get the basics down, but when it comes to actually putting it together, they really don't seem to know what the hell they're doing. And that's the worst part. Teaching requires some sort of structure to it, but also have to be scrutinizing of how you execute it. Because if you don't, problems come up. You may not be willing to change and actually adapt, and that could be a death sentence for some. String, text path, JSON, da da da. Bullshit. What's this? There's no boolean here. and it's a 4. There it is. Okay. Unsigned int. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, let's something is really off on my end. Let me get a little WordPad real quick, so I can see. I'm at 9 minutes and 33 seconds because everything I have code-wise. Let me just go ahead and show you. Actually, let's do this. Okay, smaller, and then bring you back up. Ah, whatever. Basically, let's do this. Let's just put it back because as far as I'm looking at the code, it's completely different. It's not matching like it should. Because I'm showing here, uh, let's see, this right here. I got a boolean, which he did not put down, and then for unsigned integer J, low text name, and it's got other things in here, which, so I get it, yeah, even if you just change one little letter, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's got to match though. That's the main issue. And if it doesn't match, I mean, computer's computer. It's not going to do what it's told. And it's going to be precise about being what it's told to do. So, this, everything else is fine, but he changed it to J instead of I. And then there's a boolean for skipping, which, yeah. Do if, and there's an if within it. Let's see, starting at line, let's do 207, and then tell me to go down. Where are you? Yeah, that's left, right? That's up. Where's down? Finding keys. So much fun. I hardly use it too. Huh. Oh well. Just do this. Boop. Alright.
PBR. The problem with this function though is that it can load the same texture multiple times, which we don't want to do since it will use up a lot of RAM. To prevent that, we want to create two variables, loaded text name and loaded text. We'll use loaded text name to determine whether or not we've loaded the texture, and loaded text to store the textures for all meshes to use. Then in the function,
Yeah. But here's the other thing. It's like, yeah, okay. You want to explain that you don't want to have certain things going on with it. Fine. Yeah, it's not that hard. You just initialize
all
something.
meshes to use. Then in the function, we'll add a skip variable, which will become true if the
Yep,
texture
there it
we're
is.
currently trying to load has the same name as a texture in loaded text name. If it be
Because the funny thing is, yeah, and that's where the J is coming from. So no, it's not a problem. Like I said, trying to find issues in this. Especially you already put it all down, you copy, well, basically what I'm doing is copying. But it's like I said, there's a lot of commands here. Never seen, don't know what they do.
becomes true, we don't load it anymore. Or instead simply pushing an old
And it's just like, yeah. Because I mean, that's one way to teach. It's okay, fine. We're gonna do this. Oh, but there's a problem popped up. We're gonna adjust it. Fine. Teaching like that is fine because you're revealing a problem that may come up because of something that you've created. Then you provide the solution. Fine. That's all right in the way it's done. If there we go. Base color does not equal C strong NPOS. Texture diffuse. File directory plus text. Diffuse. Hello. Why are you different? Texture push back, push back. Let them
Already
finish.
load the texture to the
Metallic roughness. Um, I mean, it could be a later thing again, like it was before. But yeah, it's not matching up again. So,
textures vector. We can also replace
like I said, I'm starting to think programming is actually
the unit by the
This actually also teaching me how to teach. So okay, make things modular. All right, I can go from A to B. How's it going to connect from each one? So not that bad, honestly. Load text name, pushback, text path.
size of the loaded text vector as well. This does it for
Ugh, see, I hate that.
have all the elements needed for a mesh, so let's make a load mesh function that will take in as an argument replace the unit by the size of the loaded.
And that is what I despise, is when they do stupid stuff like this. Because when you are just skipping around and going very quickly, especially if you're deleting is vital. Like, you need to know what you just removed. If you don't have that, you can screw up a lot just like this. Hello. If he deleted you, that would also explain why I might be having problems. Because that's probably what I missed. And because he's going so fast, I didn't catch it. So I'm looking at it. Uh huh. Find last plus one, blah blah. Stops there. Then you have the unsigned integer. Yep, unit zero. This. Actually, let me just add that little note to it, just in case. For blah blah.
Text
Yep, he deleted it. Didn't say.
vector
And because I'm constantly pausing, can't hear him. So
as well.
foolishness.
This
You need to. Like I said, you need. It's like you can explain, but it's just have a path already laid out. That way, you have set up people's expectations. So okay, fine. They know what the goal is. They know what we're gonna go through, and they're just waiting for you to, fill in the road tracks. Skip. Loaded text. Push back. This says the one above it. Yep. Okay. What did you do with it? Because mine is different.
does it for our
Yep.
textures. We don't have all the elements
That's their one little freaking thing.
needed for a mesh, so let's make a load mesh function.
For model H. Yeah, I'm gonna be so glad when I'm done with this. When I am done, I am gonna tear the crap out of it. Make it better. Make it simpler. Because it shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, yeah, you gotta deal with other things the computer may demands, but that's all you really need to do. Focus on. Just get from A to B.
That
Anything the computer throws in, okay? Extra steps. Just make sure it
will take in
doesn't interfere.
as an argument the index
Okay, you say meshes. Uh huh.
of a mesh we want
Then it
to
should be
load.
nothing.
We'll also want to create a meshes vector.
Ah, isn't double checking fun? I uh, I got an issue. This is the header, right? Yeah. Okay. Private. Yep. I got vector meshes. Why are you here? Loaded text name, loaded text. Hello. Cut you. Paste. And then get data should be underneath it. Yep. Yeah, get floated instances.
Install all the loaded meshes into. So first we want to get the indices.
Yep, skipped again. I mean, even if it's nothing, see load mesh, get data, unsigned character model. Gotcha. Assuming I wasn't off to the side. So, if I'm correct about this, which I doubt, towards the top. Get floats, nope. Jar model, get data, hello. Hello. Or is it because he added more and this is another function? Yeah, there it is. And then he put another function underneath it, which,
All the accessories
see, that's what I mean. That's why I hate about having to jump around.
of the vertices. Then we'll simply use our get floats and group floats functions for the attributes of the vertices.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue, at least for me. This is an unorganized mess of information being given. Because you can explain it, but this is, for me, it's not a good way. Normal text, indices, just meshes, indices, meshes. Oh, I thought it was a period. It's freaking stupid little dust. Primitives, zeros, attributes, last one, indices, position, normal, text, chord, nothing on that one. Okay. Accessors, grep, float, grap, grope, English. Well, I say English, computer English. So get, group, get, vec3, get, group, vec2, text fed, normal, good. Text normals, text text UVs, arm is freaking dying on me. Float, vec3, vec2, float for float. Okay. My stomach.
After that, we assemble our vertices and get our indices and textures. Then we just create a mesh with these three vectors and push it to the meshes vector. Now we can load.
Yeah, I am most definitely breaking this down whenever I get this done. Because, yeah, vertex, int, texture, some vertices. Because if this is supposed to be a generalized thing, I get it, but I just. I'm not really making this for everyone else to use. This is just me and me alone. Then when you get any other model in there, it's okay, yeah, well, I could just make my own models. I don't plan on taking models from other people or doing anything else. If I'm doing that, I'm gonna be doing it for animations and stuff, not this. Because everything I make is gonna be my own. Yeah, okay. By the looks of it,
Now we can load multiple meshes by simply iterating over them. The problem is that we
eh.
don't know where to place those meshes, so they will likely all be within one another at the origin. In order to know where to place them and how big they should be, we must extract the matrix transformations from the GLTF file.
Oh my freaking god! See, that's a crappy way to say it, because what he's basically saying, each model, you load a model. All right, you have, say, for example, a plane. You know what? Let me do this real quick. Blender is probably the best way to show it, because the one explanation from another tutorial I had explained it far better. There you go. So you have the object, right? All right, get a little cube. Ignore these two. These don't matter right at the moment. So you have, say I move off to the side. Okay, that little dot in the middle, that's the center for the cube itself. So, okay, where is it? actually. Like it's, general center. So if I move it off to the side, this little dot will forever be its center. Always, no matter where it goes, that is its center. So, okay, fine. That's perfectly fine. The question is, let's use the little marker here. Say this is the marker for the center of the entire world that it renders. That's how the computer understands it. So the question is, are you moving the object around the world, or is the world moving around the object? That's the thing about, having center points and everything else. So going back to him on the idea of why it's modeling like that, it's like, yeah, you tell it to load in the mesh. All right, where does it put it? Well, you're not giving me anything else, so I'm going to default to center of the world. That's why it's going to overlap. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah. So when you build in a model, it's like, okay, we need the textures and everything. It's like, yeah, but what's its scale? How big is it? What's all the other parameters defining what the model is? And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you need to understand that one concept first before you move on. It's that's what I mean. They're not teaching based on an idea of wanting you to learn. They're teaching you on the base of getting from A to B. And that's the biggest mistake for a majority of teachers. The same thing with high school and everything else. They just want you to get to A to B. They don't care if you actually know it and know how to use it. I mean, it's the same. I mean, you want another example? Take freaking driving. Oh, you're following the lanes. Oh, it's always straight. No, the car is only going straight because visually you're seeing it as following lanes. If you want to go freaking way off on the freaking side, it's like technically you're going straight. You're just not aligned with the parameters laid out on the road. It's like it's like yeah, you're not thinking in a different manner. You're just following what everyone else wants you to be, a sheep. It's silly thinking, honestly, and it's just no. And you wonder why things are crap. It's like, yeah, you didn't teach humans to be humans. You taught them to be sheep. Congratulations. So when you want them to think outside the box, they're stuck in the box because that's all they know.
order to know.
It's like the allegory about the cave. It's like, great, they're not going to move out because you haven't shown them any other way. Well, we're creatures of habit, so we're going to stay in the freaking cave.
Where
It's
to place
silly.
them and how big they should be, we must extract the matrix transformations from the GLTF file. And we can't just get the matrix of each mesh, but must instead keep track of what children each mesh has in order to multiply the matrices of each mesh together. All the information for the matrices and
Yeah, this is why I'm freaking. Because my brain is getting irritated by it. It's like, okay, you're gonna have a center point for the. Let's close this. You're gonna have a center point for the model. Okay, fine. Take the vertices, get them all together. It's like you already have a predefined thing because when you have the model come in, it should already have the vertices. It should already have what's connected, and it should have a center point. When you bring it in, say scale is one. This is a one-to-one scale. Blah blah blah. It's like yeah, just make it automatic default. So if it changes, it can keep track of it on its own. That's and they wonder why I get pissed at video games so often. Because it's just the fact that even if I don't have the knowledge, I have the concept enough to know and understand it can be done better
the
and
relationship
easily
between
and much more
meshes
easier.
is in the nodes. So let's create a function named traverse node, which takes the index of a node and the matrix, making it have the identity matrix as a default value. Then let's
See, this is stupid now. Why are you zoomed in and scanning it?
all the information for the matrices and the relationship between meshes is in the nodes. So let's create the
Because doing this is retarded. Because if you're trying to follow along, now you have to stop every letter now. Like, why? Why are you doing this? You said you're supposed to be teaching, but you're blinding and actually stopping it because I gotta freaking. First, I don't know what line you're on. So we gotta bring it back all the way on the top, void model load mesh, wherever that's at. That's assuming I'm even on the wrong or right file. And you're talking about, it says in the beginning, I got load mesh. But there's a lot of things missing because I'm not on the right file. And that's my whole point. That's why I don't like it. Load match model unsigned interval. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. All right, and he's doing it what? Above it?
all the information for the matrices and
Never mind, he switched file. Great.
the relationship between meshes
Do-do-do.
is in the nodes. So let's read
Load model, blah, blah, loaded text. Okay, not text name, loaded text. Loaded text, blah, blah, void load mesh, unsigned integer in mesh. Okay, below it. Uh, I know I did not complete.
the function named traverse node, which
Son of a gun. Because I gotta go find if this is even in here, because I'm starting to think, nope, it's in there, but it's not where it's at in his code. So I think he's altered it.
takes the index of the
Int
node
next node
and the matrix,
at 4
and we
matrix
would have
right equals G.
the
4, yeah,
identity
and this is what I
matrix
mean.
as a default
Constantly
value.
pausing.
And let's
No.
also create vectors for different types of transformation.
See, here's another thing. Where are you at? So I gotta go freaking look for it now. Loaded text name, meshes. Meshes? Which one are we talking about? Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me just X, take those, switch it around. Because either me being stupid when I first did this. Should be underneath load. Whether there's a header or file, the order of the code is always important. Like some things might not be as important, but it's important regardless.
Matrices. We have translations which move the mesh.
So yeah, and then it's even funny when I was like, oh, you could just get a game engine. Yeah, well, I don't feel like paying someone for my creations. Even worse, I don't feel like the idea of having being dictated what I can and cannot do with a tool that I have in my hand. So go make my own. And I think
Rotations
I found
which
it.
rotate
Okay.
it, scales which change its size, and matrices which are a combination of the aforementioned, but we can't know if the first three will be used or just a matrix, so we need to account for both. We must first modify our mesh class by adding this
Let's vote of change our mesh class in the header. It would be nice to identify where you're at. Void draw. That's assuming that's he's even there. Draw the mesh. Void. Hello. I don't have a void draw. Ah. Okay, I scrolled a little too far. Shader, camera. Ah, son of a gun. I hate when they do that too. Camera, and then GLMs. Yeah, because this was easier to read than his. Gotta keep track of the parentheses. Do mat 4, vec 3, quad, vec 3. No, he's not done. So, matrix relation, rotation. Do, do, do. Okay.
transformations to the draw function as inputs with
Mesh draw. And what? CPP. Because the only thing I think I've found is just one small error. It's funny enough, that's all it takes.
default values that don't change anything and then sending them to the shader
Yeah. Here we go again with the whole
with default values that don't change anything
speeding along again.
with default values that don't change anything
Is why I call it retarded.
with default values that don't change anything
Because the fact that I had to repeat that 3 different times just to stop it just right so I can see everything, yeah, that's beyond irritating. What's worse is I think I might have found the issue. He is in mesh, okay, file, void mesh draw. Here's the thing, it doesn't exist on mine, which either means it wasn't done properly or it's somewhere else, which from what I'm looking at, oh, okay, right, I'm looking at, I forgot I also doubled my freaking code because I wanted it to be working again, so just to make sure, everything was running right. There we go. Uh-huh. Matrix translation, rotation, and scale. All in the parentheses. VAO. Okay, yeah.
and then
This is why I despise when they do this. I gotta go find it again. GL uniform 3G 3F. I think it's towards the bottom, honestly. Shader.id, cam position, camera, blah 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 blah. Matrix. Yep, found it.
sending them to the shader at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, if anyone actually wonders why things take forever, imagine this, but on the other side. Like the developers know what the hell they're doing. They're making a game engine and everything else, which apparently from EA side, freaking they're making a game engine constantly, which takes time. Especially if you're looking, oh, we want better graphics. Well, why can't we use the old code now? It's like, why? You're taking up more time trying to fix an issue that isn't an issue. It's like taking away someone's. It's like building a car so you get from one place to another, and once you get there, now they force you to build another car. It's like, oh, what's wrong with the old one? It still works. So they're, actively spending more money than necessary, which is actually kind of hilarious. Uh, because if I'm correct, say I like nor animations, nor the channel and everything else, I could probably make a game within a few months, consistently. Well, to some degree. You're talking like RPGs. No, RPGs, no. I'd actually think of the dialogue and everything else and then find people. Yeah. But say like just single player stuff where it's just simple, where it doesn't really have voice acting or anything, yeah, I could easily make those out, pump those out quickly. Which, I mean, they'd probably be mediocre to decent, probably not even worth it. I want something great. It wouldn't take 3, 4, 8 years, although I would take it, but it's gonna be polished as hell. And I will be scrutinizing every little bit of it, down to the freaking engine itself, if I'm gonna have that much time. But, YouTube and yeah, so I wouldn't do that. Unless it's like my fear, my game, my fear, what do you call it? The game I feared to make. There we go. That one, that one, it's got it written all over it. Just trans, rot, sky. We're not gonna bother using the full thing. Do 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 translation, rotation, sky scale. See, well, it's also because maybe the parameter is different. I don't think it's, yeah, he has to write it all out, but GL false, GLM value, PTR, scale, and then matrix, FV for all, and
Of the function. Don't forget to
yep, okay.
also create uniform.
In the in the Vertus? Ooh. Visual Studio, calm down. I don't need you dying on me yet. 25. As long as I take out the notes. Oh, I'm also trying to challenge myself to some degree. Uniform model. Okay, then add translation rotation scale.
These transformations in the vertex shader and
And I also break it off so I can actually see the stupid thing instead of,
multiply them like so.
yeah. Translation, negative rotation, scale, vec4, a position 1, okay.
Put a negative sign in front of the rotation matrix since that's what I found to work. It might be a bug in my code or the fact that GLM and GLTF use different rotation standards, aka clockwise versus counterclockwise.
Which you'll find some files will do that sometimes from time to time, which that's on the people who made it. So, yeah. So it's just as simple as doing negative or positive. It's
And since we're in the vertex shader, we also need to rotate the texture coordinates by
test coordinates void main. Gotcha. Since nothing is colored in the vertex, it's red. It's just not. I guess you say read by the computer or read by Visual Studio in a certain way. Oh, and that's a normal. Colors a color. Text coord. Mat 2 0 negative 1 1 0. 0 times a
90
text.
degrees, which we can do with this matrix. This again either has something to do with a bug in the code or different standards. What's important is that it works decently well.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by the game engine. Say, for example, like I put in a model, put in a texture, everything's weird. I can easily come in, change that, fixed. And that's why I don't like the idea of using Unreal Engine or anything else. It's like outside of the royalties and everything else, I don't like the idea if something's broken, I don't know how to fix it. Because if something breaks in Unreal Engine, I don't know how to fix it because I've never messed with it. I'm going to be spending more time trying to understand the engine just to fix it than I would be making the game. Yeah, no, screw that.
Now for the function, it's
I hate when they do that.
decently well. Now for the
Yeah, he's making spaces everywhere,
function
and he's quickly
itself.
changing. And I don't know what file he's on. CPP. All right. And all of this just to fix the code too, because a lot of things are gonna have to delete, rewrite. You know what? I won't delete it. I'm just gonna swap out the code for notes. That way, if something does go wrong, I can swap it back. Whatever. Line 33. Well, let's see what he makes. Void model load mesh. Da, da,
We'll want to get a current node.
da. Traverse node. Hold on. Model CPP. Yep. And he said traverse node. I saw it before. There it is. Traverse node, unsigned integer, next node, GLM format, matrix. Gotcha.
As a JSON object and then extract the transformations
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Teaching, right?
decently well. Now for the function itself, we'll want to get a current node as a JSON object and then
Because every command is vital. You can say, for example, you want a JSON node. Okay. Next node. No, it's JSON. Because everything you put in there has a purpose. Like you really can't have anything. Well, you can have something useless, but then it just jumbles it up and makes it harder to read for us humans. For the computer, it doesn't give a damn. So, oh, okay, whatever. It keeps moving. Moves until it trips. By him doing this, this is definitely not teaching. This is here, just copy. And let me while I explain what it does. How does it work, man? Gotta figure it out. It's like, yeah, that's no. Trans values 3, 4 unsigned integer, and I think that's what really kills it because before, okay, say for example, I get stuck. I start losing motivation. I start freaking not caring. This is where I'm at with this. So I don't care. Just get me to the end so I can actually do the work that I want to do.
extract the transformation.
Because at that point, if I reach that point, yeah. And it's kind of sad, honestly. Because there's times because I'm starting to find that's why I kind of went back to Cosmo tier. It's like, yeah, I want to figure shit out. I want problems to solve. But instead, he's creating more problems without giving me the tools to be able to solve it. 1000, if no dot find rotation, rotation 3012. And I think it repeats several times. Okay, he's just got the rotation down. Let me
If they exist.
rotation, blah blah. Make quat. I'm also starting to find out my process of making programs is changing. It's no longer, oh, just put it in there and then fix it. It's like, yeah, I'm starting to actually back off now. Try to look at it from a bigger perspective. Plan it out first. Find out problems. Which at some point I'm probably going to end up with a whiteboard. It's like, oh, the ladies with their cats. Nope. A man with his whiteboard can't stop freaking fixing it. 'Cause he keeps running into problems that he forgot to remember. Scale, that size. Scale values, I, node. Okay, I was about to say. Da da da. Scale equals GLM make average. Mat node, GLM, mat4. And the oh, that is one thing I forgot. Node find matrix, blah blah. And then he's gonna put in a little more code because
Notice how
if. Son of a gun.
for the rotation quaternion, I get the indices in the order 3012 instead of 0123. This is because GLTF encodes quaternions as XYZW while GLM uses them as WXYZ.
Yeah, see, this is where the problems go. And it's supposedly these extensions for OpenGL is made from Chronos, supposedly, but I think it's from. But I'm not 100% sure that's correct. 'Cause I think it's just other people who modified it over time, to extend how it works. Because I mean, yeah, I don't want to go into code and pipeline and constantly have to do it from scratch. So I want to be able to just, put it in there, have it already know. Because the one thing people don't understand, colors is in the BIOS. You really do not want to be fucking with that. So having something like OpenGL go in, understand it, put it out there, and all you got to do is just pull what you need. It's like, okay, that's better. They don't realize how difficult that can get, especially if you start modifying it. As I stare at freaking AMD for breaking an entire system because it screwed with the BIOS,
Again, just standardization
which actually makes me think, that's my own little personal project now. Yeah,
problems. Now we want to
gotta think about it. Only thing that needs to be changed out is the hard drive. Well, that and the freaking processor. No, not the processor, the graphics card. Oh shit, I might actually reuse that computer. It just needs components swapped out. And then now I'm trying to figure out what the hell he did. Increment size. Yep. Matt. Yep.
combine all of these
Transrod scale and transrod scale.
transformations, including the matrix we get as an input.
I might accidentally summon the trans if I keep saying that when they don't realize. Well, no, they already tried to do that. Talking about, well, trans is our word. Yeah, it's also an abbreviation for translation, and among other words, they can also translate, transform, transport. It's like you can't just own a word, especially something that can be used commonly. Uh, Mat next node matrix times mat node times. See, this is yeah. Welcome to the mathematics of Go Pirate. All hail John Carmack for freaking figuring this crap out in '96. We still haven't stopped using it since. But funny thing, he did need help too, because a lot of mathematics I think overwhelmed him a little. Well, I wouldn't say overwhelmed. Probably just he needed something extra to give him that little push.
And if we do, we push
'Cause
all
I don't
the
know.
transformations and load them.
And I kind of don't want to buy the Doom Bible because, well, I mean, we tear apart games for over a decade, figuring out every little thing. It's like, yeah, it's not that hard to understand game design. It's also not that hard to understand free. I mean, honestly, not none of it is hard. It's just getting it to translate into a computer so it can actually do what it's supposed to. Because overall, almost I would say gamers are better game designers than the ones that are in now.
After that, we check if
I mean, they played the games, and if they freaking want to scrutinize it, there you go. Give them some time, make it understand, actually be able to criticize themselves, because that's important.
the mesh has any
Because arrogance does not go well without wisdom. That just becomes incompetence.
children, and if it does, we want to apply this same function to all of them while also giving them the current matrix we have. So
Yeah, here's the issue I have with that code. Because I was saying, if I know children, node end, blah, blah. And then that's the other issue is because, like I said, he's using it in brackets. It has a completely different meaning. I've never used code in that manner. Simply because I didn't have a reason to, and quite frankly, didn't have anything there. Okay, and it's good. The thing is, what happens if you get a code, or not code, file extension that doesn't use the word children? All of this goes to crap.
we have. So this function is recursive, and so we'll split
Because again, it's all specific.
along the paths of the tree till it gets to all the nodes. Now we can write this function in the
Okay. Model CPP, blah, blah, blah. Just to make sure one thing. Okay, yeah. Do 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 do. Model.h. So I'm in CPP all the way at the top. File, data get title, traverse node 0. See, why are you including it now?
constructor and give it 0 as an input.
Because you could have done that earlier, to at least initialize it.
The last thing we need to do is write our draw function,
Okay, which, yep, right there.
and that's it for the model class. In the main
Yeah, no.
class,
This is why I despise this.
class.
Because if you're going to speed through it, you at least show the file. It's like, well, you could just go to the file and look at it. It's like, no, no. Because that means you're better off not having this video then. Because, I mean, you can show it and everything, but there's no point in following it. Because you're not really going to be listening. And if you talk about having the two together, it's like, well, you're talking about going from A to B, but you're skipping the path between the two. It's like going from a freaking 1911 freaking Ford to all of a sudden now you're in 2012. It's like, okay, how did I get here? It's like you need some sort of correlation between the two, because otherwise you won't understand it. And like I said, things go to crap. Give me 1 second. There we go. I don't know why it was off to the side like that. Blah blah blah. For unsigned integer. Blah blah. Less than measure size. Increment. Blah blah. Draw shader. Camera. Matrix messages. That's it. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
In the main.cpp file,
Oh, whoa. What the Seriously.
class. In
You don't just
the main
delete crap. What the hell? Because now he's in the main thing. The thing that's actually supposed to be running all this together. And just starts going on a blitz of deleting. Like, huh? It's like, calm down.
main.cpp file with
Of me.
class. In the
This is what I despise the most. Because especially if you're deleting something, you need to know what's being deleted.
main.cpp
Light indices. Right, so all the indices. So, okay, so delete everything between the window creation all the way to the main. Gotcha. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's already been done. No, stuff like that infuriates me because you're trying to go on a journey to know how you get from A to B. I don't think I'm gonna be, sleeping through it.
file class. In the main.cpp
Deletes
file,
it. What does he delete? Textures. Okay. It was around 40. Because the previous one, it already had something preset. So, okay, here's the vertices, here's the lights, here's everything, yada, yada, yada. So, okay, that's fine. We want you to essentially, I think it's gone because I'm not seeing it. Yeah, there's the window creation, there's the load, there's the viewport and everything else, loading all the shaders and everything else. Okay. Yeah, because if you do stuff like this will cause problems. It doesn't matter if you explain it or have something off to the side. Someone needs to know, what the hell is going on. Because from seeing, hearing, it's like, you got different senses, and they all supposed to correlate with one another. If your own senses are getting confused, Wait a minute. Okay, there's shader program. Why did it do? Okay, yeah, that's that because that gets transferred.
We just
Yeah,
have
deletes that. On mine, I just have that shader light shader. Ooh, wait a minute. There is no light shader. Okay, so these delete it.
to include
Yes. Deletes all of that. I have a Vec 4, Vec 3, light, light, light. Okay, I got those. Just double checking the numbers. Vec, mat, light model, blah, blah. Then on that, he has object position, which that's the previous thing. I had the indices and everything else to make the model.
the model
Delete those. Light shader activate. I think that's done elsewhere. Yeah. And then you should have a shader program activate.
class and the
Okay. Yeah, and the shader program will do all of that for the light color, position, yada yada. And that's what I mean. It's
delete all the old
this. Yeah, I'm. I wouldn't say pity. Just more like understanding. 'Cause you have the people who know what the hell they're doing, having to wait on people who don't know what the hell they're doing, and then the ones who are teaching don't know how to teach because they do stuff like this. It's like, God, it's a freaking mess. So literally, it's on the current generations to fix the previous generations their mistake. Oh, you should just learn it. Well, you got to give me a foundation to learn from. Like telling me to jump onto a roof. It's like, okay, well, give me some tools or ideas or something, cause it ain't working out
mesh
like that. Couldn't even catch it. I'm sorry, I'm not a space marine
in
who
the
can
main.cpp
react and
file. We just have
see everything
to
within a span of a second.
include the
I don't even know what he deleted. Yeah, it's why this gets irritating. It's why it's. I mean, look at it now. It's been an hour and a half, and I've been on the same tutorial. Given what, take off 5 minutes explaining about the whole idea of 3D models and how they're rendered and understood by the computer.
class. In the main.cpp file, we just
Uh huh.
have to include the
God dang it. 53.
class. In the main.cpp file,
Uh huh.
we
Deletes
just
that.
have
Deletes that.
to
Light shader.
include
Object
the
position.
model class and
Lighter. He deleted something from the freaking shader program. That I don't like.
class. In the
Dude, what was it?
main.cpp file, we just have to include the model class and
See, he sped it up so fast. And that's the thing.
class. In
I
the
can say I can ignore it, but here's the issue. What is that code? What does it do? What is its importance?
main.cpp
Because
file,
especially if it's code that works, what you delete might affect other code.
we just
Like for example, now you got vertices, indices, textures because he deleted the previous ones, the ones that defined it. It doesn't know what the hell he's talking about now. That
have
is why I'm going over this meticulously.
to include the
Because if I
model
don't,
class
I won't freaking find the error. For example, model, shader program ID, model false, blah blah value pointer. Okay, it's value pointer to the object that he just deleted.
and
See,
delete
you can say, oh, it's nothing. Information is information to a computer, and it will cry and complain.
all the old mesh
See, like that.
class. In the main.cpp file, we just have to include the model class and delete all the old mesh
Okay, he's on the while, so it's the loop for to keep the window open. Okay, 1 second. All right, there. This is why I despise this. Because it's ridiculous.
In the main.cpp file, we just have to include the model class and delete all the old mesh
Draw, floor draw, light draw. Okay, that's doing with the vertices and indices again. Uh, camera inputs, camera update matrix, model draw. Okay, this is where he replaces it. JLF swap buffers. You do not touch those. Never touch those. If you want yourself to have anything animated, never. It's funny enough. Maybe later. That might be something I do on my own because I might need a counter because I don't know how many frames it's putting out. I don't know if I can increase it. I don't know if there's a limit. I have no idea. So maybe that'd be worth a side little project to do. Okay. Deletes. He deletes the light shader. Yeah, because it's not there anymore. There's nothing to delete.
Then get some models, create a model object.
Excuse you? He's still in the main, right? Right underneath the. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Let me just double check this. GL depth buff. Yeah, that's the whole depth test and everything else, so he can get the Z buffers done correctly. Oh. Well, I mean, I know mine is different, but that's only because my access or my directory is different. Give me 1 second to find my directory. Make sure it's fine, because I put it somewhere. Yeah. Hello. I cop. This is what I mean by following it, because. Yeah, and that's there, that's there. His says scene gltf. The file I have is scene.bin. Here's the question. Are we doing bin or gltf? And given the fact that everything he's already coded is for gltf, and if you switch to sword, because that's the one that's in here. Is that what was causing the problem? Oh, let me just double. Okay, just want to make sure that's there because that is beyond important. Model draw, model draw, shader program, and then camera.
Domain while loop.
Yep.
Here are some examples of models I've been able to load in. I've left some models that should 100% work in the repository of this tutorial on
All right.
GitHub. So if you're getting some errors, check those models to see if you have a problem with your code or the model you're trying to load in. Again, keep in mind that this importer is in no way complete and is in fact very basic, so don't expect to be able to load in any model you find on the internet. I find that a decent amount of models from sketchfab.com work pretty well, especially if they don't have too many meshes. That's it for this tutorial. It was a really long one, but also a very rewarding one if you ask me. As always, don't forget to add comments to everything you wrote to make sure you understand it, and the source code is in the description. Bye.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not really teaching. It's just here's how to get from A to B. Uh, Not helping. However, this is why I go through it meticulously like the way I do, because I found every little thing. Here's my next issue. Why aren't you? Is it because I'm doing that? 'Cause I'm trying to code off. Okay, that should be fine to come out. There we no? What's happening? Because the code down here. That's the. Ooh, why is it stopping? Here, that's why. Let's do this. Cut you there. Shoot. There we go. Might have accidentally hit that by accident. So this doesn't interfere. There we go. Now it's sectioned off. No errors for now. So this is the original code I had before it had all those issues. This is what I had. It was scene. Scene GLTF. Of course I can't find it because that file does not freaking exist. Scene.bin, fine, but no. Let me look at my word real quick. 933.207. Son of a gun. Alright, I need to go back to him. Like I said, me actually learning this, it's just gonna have to be me fiddling with it, remaking it over and over again. Same thing what I did with Windows 32. I just went over it constantly, model CPP, and I just kept playing around with it. It was nothing like, it's just, practice, essentially. That's all it was. That's all it was needed. Oh, right. No, model CPP is the one that freaking it was necessary to cut out because, yeah, it was screwing with the rest of the code from the other one because it doesn't actually exist. What I need, no, that node is unnecessary. Texture and that, okay, yeah, yeah, I know. The only reason those errors are popping up because I'm using old code in the other file, so I need to go there and fix those two. Yeah, he's fine. He messed with H. Yep, messed with mesh. Clog you up. No, you stay there. Then unclog you. Model. Model is fine. Okay. Mesh. Oops, wrong place. There we go. Oops. Would you look at that? Do we delete you? You should be there. Why aren't you? What the hell's going on now? Yeah, I know you expected a freaking semicolon. Here's a question. Who is stopping this? Because the whole thing there we go. I was about to say, like, what the hell? Or is it just Visual Studio being slow again? Which apparently I've been hearing from other ones. Model, yeah, I know. I'll fix you. I gotta go freaking through all of these. Model's fine. Texture, yep. Then get rid of you. Because I think for the most part, those are done. Yeah, because if I talk about this basic, and I think for the most part, I'll probably keep the code and everything. I'll just make a new one, make a new file and everything, and then just use that as a test. I need to stop doing that. A testing ground. Use this as a testing ground, and then just remake it from the ground up again. Because I just want to follow freaking. Are you sure there's no issues? Because I see issues. Model.h. Yep, it's just being slow. So it's just catching up essentially. See, that's what I mean. It's too scattered for it. I don't like it. Now we'll see if it gives me an error or if it'll do something else. Warning. Yeah, I know. There's some warnings in there too. Which, yeah. Yeah. The game engine. One thing these companies don't understand is they are vital. They're literally what allows you to make games, and they keep screwing with it. I understand testing and everything. I was like, side project, try to push ahead of the rest of the competition, but forcing companies, your developers to use it. Ooh, huh? Wait. Yep. Mm. We're back to the square one again. And what are you in? Shader class.cpp. Thank you. Stop it. I did not switch it. I know it's going to throw an error because this is code I copied off of him from the previous one. So, it could work. That way, I could find the issues. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I think yeah, this one. Just swap it around. I don't think I messed with the shader class. I don't think he messed with it. Let me go ahead and just for the sake of it, I'll look at shader class H, and yep, the exception is still thrown, which is good, which means that error still works. because it's this is the biggest issue I have with him doing it that way. He's jumping around, deleting shit, freaking. It's like, come on, you're making all these changes that is vital to the computers to run, and then back to the same problem again, where there's an unhandled exception. And funny enough, this is an address. Yeah, blah. See, that's what I mean. Enclose, read. It's like, is it because get file contents, file name? Maybe because file. All right. Well, for now, let me. Well, first end the run. Second, find the. If there's a shader class. Yep. There's a shader class H. And if there's a shader class H, you can bet your bottom dollar there's a freaking CPP. Do do do. And then boop boop. Now, it should still run fine because I don't think he messed with any of the shader classes, and it should still throw that error. Feed me the money. Because if it works, I'm gonna be pissed. Because that means something in the shader classes got changed and I didn't know. Which, meh. Because the only thing I could think of from what it's throwing is the fact that, yeah, and it's loading everything, and there we go. Throw error. Because it's doing the window, it's doing everything else, but it's. Okay. I think it's mainly because, whoa, VBO, hello. In fact, just delete this. Because I know he didn't mess with the VBO, VAO. It's already set. It's pretty much set in stone. VAO, same thing. So yeah, I think it's just yeah, because I don't think he messed with the VAOs, VBOs, all the other ones. VAO, EBO, yep, yeah, because I don't think he messed with any of that. Because there really isn't any reason to. You set up the buffers, you set the bindings, done. I mean, there's nothing to really mess with. You screw with those, it's like okay. The first question would be why. EBO, VAO, because I think that this was more or less done because I was trying to freaking find the error. So, okay, go back to the previous code, yada yada yada. He did not mess with these. VBO. Yes, I know, because you're missing that, so blah blah blah. So VBO, VAO, yada yada. Yeah, which funny enough, that's all nav for that. Main. Main? Main. Yeah, it should be in here. And of course, keep the main this, because that's kind of important. Alright, let me see. I think it's because of my directory, which would be freaking infuriating. Let's do this. And then, let me make sure I should just double check, make sure it's properly spelled. Ugh. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I'm hoping the directory is enough, because I really do not want to go all the way back to the rest of it. Okay, now it's starting. Yeah, I can see both of them, but yeah. Blah, argument conversion from size T to DLN, possible loss of data. Argument conversion, data, generating code. Yeah, this is actually kind of slow, but yeah, like I said, make sure it works first before you try to make it fancy. Doesn't work. Still throwing the code. Why? Break when the section type is thrown, except when thrown from Kernel base. Oh, no, 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 no. Not from kernel base. Anything from there. That is the last thing I ever want to hear is that. Because I haven't messed with it. But I know it's important and it's tied to the BIOS. Which means something in this code is screwing with it, pulling these files. What is shader class? Well, that doesn't make any sense then. Because he didn't mess with the shader class, which means it's freaking being pulled from somewhere else. See, like tell G? What the hell is tell G? If stream in file. That's another one I haven't seen. Or rather, I've seen it after freaking other crappy tutorials. And this is usually how I end up freaking stop making the game engine because they do this stupid crap. They make all these changes. They don't. I mean, they explain it, but the thing is, I'm stopping. And it's like, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm not understanding. That's the first issue. The same thing like most people don't understand with freaking communication. It's like the point of language is to be understood. That's the first and most important step. They keep forgetting about the understanding part and go off to say, well, you're not listening. Well, are you making yourself understood first? Like, are you talking in a manner? Are you freaking trying to clarify? Are you trying to understand why? Simple questions. And that's all. And that's the majority of things about programming. It's just, yeah, are you asking questions? Because it's still throwing the same error as before. No, he didn't mess with the shader, so delete all this too. 'Cause I think he's pretty much done. 'Cause I'd rather go back to the basic of it. So I just say, yeah, unsigned int shader, constant character type. I have no idea what that window is. I don't need STB. I don't need these. That one stays. Because I know this one, son of a gun. That explains it, partially. I forgot I also did it to this, but because it's not. Okay, where's my... No, he meant with vertices. He didn't deal with the frag. The frag shader he didn't screw with. Shader class. H. Yeah, okay. Like I said, shader classes he didn't mess with. The vertices, this might be causing it because the previous one, yeah, okay, yeah, the previous, oh, realizes, yes, you deleted the freaking vertices here. What you needed to do was this, you buffoon. Like I said, it's supposed to be making a code, you know, take it out, make sure it works. You want to go use the video, come back, revert it. So the ones that are changed are changed. This one is still important because I need it for to make it work from the previous one. No, he didn't mess with the shader class. No. So these two aren't needed either. Well, outside of deleting the stupid crap I did. EBO, VBO, VAO don't need those. Yeah, because that's all part of the process of getting to of actually getting it through the pipe work for actually rendering. Try it now. Well, if I try it now, it should still freaking throw off the error. Because that's what was happening last time. Like I said, and this is why things do take a long while. Because when you have no one who's willing to teach, now you gotta basically go from the ground up and, well, do it yourself. It's like freaking trying to rediscover fire. It's like, yeah, thanks. I mean, that's the funnier part too. People don't understand fires either. Oh, you just rub some things and make it hot. Don't even understand it's a chemical reaction. Well, quote unquote chemical reaction. Chemical reaction to some degree. And here's the thing. Tell me, you need to follow exactly, be thrown with a line of errors. I'm thrown with a line of with an error from a class that was done a while ago, and it's the same error consistently. So I'm gonna try something stupid. Let's see if it throws it. Yep, there it is. It doesn't throw it. Wait, 62. Oh, draw. Okay. Let's just go down the line. At this point, I'm experimenting. This is for craps and giggles at this point. I don't care. Hey guys, guess what? Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah, that little window here? Yeah. That's what's being rendered. The model is the frickin' issue. Welcome to my pain. I was just curious. That's all it took was doing that one little thing. Just take out the BS of what he did. Talking about you need to load the model, need to draw this. Okay, keeps throwing an exception. An exception where it's pointing at shoot where shitter class. Throws an exception right here. And from what I'm reading, as far as I understand it, it's okay. It's looking for a file, it's going through all of this, it's reading the contents, blah blah blah, and for some reason it's throwing an error. An error leading to the kernel base, which is part of the BIOS for freaking dealing with rendering. So okay, what happens if you don't render it? Guess what? Everything's pitch perfect. Yeah. I This is why I despise these little old YouTube tutorials because they don't scrutinize themselves. That's the worst thing to do. So I'm back to square one with the whole game engine thing again. Well, kind of square one. He actually got part of it to a point because all I needed was okay, I need something to render and I need lighting. The tutorial he's using that I followed for years and kept trying to pick at it, it always stopped at we could get it to render. We can't get it to freaking deal with the Z buff, or we can't deal with any of this because whoever wrote it didn't update, or even worse, freaking from what I found from freaking his own website, don't answer. It's like, I ran into this problem. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? I'm following it to the letter. It's like, yeah, that's the reason why I won't buy his book, won't support anything. It's like, yeah, you're not giving me anything to work with here. So what I'm suspecting is he says this whole thing's supposed to work with GLTF. Fine. Let's do this. And even worse, I'll just do this. Whoops. Well, if that file actually existed. Let's go find out if freaking scene is the one he wanted, because he said scene.gltf. Yep, throws the exception again. It's something in these freaking god. Well, at least I know what it is. The thing works, it still works. The issue is the models, whatever is in this model, because I've never seen GLTF as an extension file. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. So we're gonna go cut you out because I'm fairly certain it's finding it. It's just not. It has no idea what the frickin's doing with it. Because you know what? I'm gonna try something stupid. I got 1 minute to try something stupid. Okay. Let's see. Let's go find the file. No. Copy. Wait, what? Where is it? This is why I hate Windows 11. No. Wait, can I not copy? Oh, there we go. I was about to say, like, yeah, I should be able to copy. Show more options, paste, because I've been doing this. Let's do, come on. There we go. Scene.gltf. I know. Yes. Boom. Boom, boom. Okay, the file actually exists now. Now, what's going to pull? Is it going to still pull the error, or it still pulls the error? So it's something else within it. Kernel base, yeah, which I really don't, I'm not touching. I'll look, I won't touch. Nullman, Jason? No. Is it the freaking JSON file? JSON, blah, blah. I'll go ahead and look at the JSON file on my own because this is beyond infuriating. Because it's like it's supposed to be a quote unquote basic loader. It's not loading. In fact, if it's doing this, so there was something within the JSON file. Which I mean, when did the video come out? 2020. So yeah, 2021. And because these companies keep changing the language and everything, it could have been something in there. I don't know. So I mean, JSON throw EX. Where am I at? Oh, yep. Shoot, actually, I needed to do it one more time. False. There we go. You can stop now. Because the funny thing is, yeah, it's not in the project, but it is here now. Oh, that's right. It's actually reading it. It's not actually. Yeah, yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to freaking look into it because I tried doing it before. Decided to go through it today with the stream. Didn't work. Freaking still stuck. So, like I say, if it doesn't work, oh well. I gotta figure out the GUI and everything else. That'll be the main issue. Then after that, no, there's other issues because even though I can render, it's not keeping track of objects. Ah, then I gotta freaking have it more to world. Yeah, this is why I despise this. It's nothing here is done well in a way that can actually help. So, uh, welcome to the welcome to Earth, where humans don't help humans and expect things to still progress. Right. Anyway, Monday, Wednesday, I think I'll go back to 3D if I can. If not, yeah. For the animations, for the videos, yeah, I think I'm gonna be a hermit. Just focus on that entirely. So that Monday, Wednesday, continue working. Friday, same thing like today. So until next time, bye.